Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to clear up one of the key topics in English, that pesky difference between the present simple and the past simple. Our goal is that by the end of this guide, you'll feel way more confident using them. Shall we get started?
Does that little moment of hesitation between she walks and she walked sound familiar? Yeah, it's one of the most common mix-ups when you're learning English, but don't worry about it. The logic behind it is actually super simple, and today we're going to figure it out together.
Awesome. So here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down the key concepts. Then, we'll put them side by side to really see the differences. After that, I'll give you a practical guide so you won't forget them. We'll also go over some common mistakes to learn from them, and we'll finish it all off with a final summary. Ready?
All right, let's start from the beginning, building a solid foundation. In this first section, we're going to look at each tense individually to really understand what they're all about and how they're built. First up, the present simple. I want you to think of this as the routine tense. It's for things you do every day, like I drink coffee in the morning. We also use it for facts or universal truths, stuff like the earth revolves around the sun. It's the tense for things that are constant.
Now, this table is basically your formula for success. Take a good look. For affirmative sentences, it's just the subject and the verb. But, and this is a big but, if the subject is he, she, or it, you've got to add an S to the end of the verb. And for negatives or questions, our special helpers do and does jump in. Okay, now let's take a trip to the past simple. Think of this tense as a verbal time machine. We use it to talk about actions that started and, this is really important, finished in the past. For example, I visited my grandmother yesterday. The action of visiting started and ended yesterday. It's done.
And here we have the two main characters of the past tense, regular and irregular verbs. The regular ones are easy. You just add ed to the end, so play becomes played. The irregulars, well, they're the rebels. They change their form completely. Go turns into went, and eat becomes ate. You just got to get to know them.
The key point here is that in the past simple for negatives and questions, you only need one helper, did. And the best part is, when you use didn't or did, the main verb goes right back to its original base form. No ed or any other changes. Did does all the heavy lifting of showing it's the past. Okay, now that we know each tense on its own, it's time to put them face to face. This direct comparison is going to help you see the differences crystal clear.
This slide illustrates the difference perfectly. On the left, we've got the present. Today, I play. On the right, the past. Yesterday, I played. Just look at how the verb transforms to travel through time. Play becomes played, eats turns into ate, and speak flips to spoke. This table right here is pure gold. It sums up the biggest difference when making negative sentences and questions. In the present, you have to choose between do and does depending on the person. But in the past, everything gets simpler. Did works for everyone. It couldn't be easier. All right, we've covered the theory, but how do we actually make all of this stick? Let's move on to the practical side with a really powerful tool, the Bitácora de Inglés, or your learning log. The idea is super simple. A learning log is like your personal English gym. By writing just a little bit every day about what you do and what you did, you force your brain to use these tenses naturally. And you know what? That's how you get fluent. So, let's see how to use your log to build up your skills. Just follow these 5 steps. Every day, spend a few minutes writing about what you did yesterday using the past simple. Then, write about your routines for today using the present simple. It's a quick exercise that's going to give you huge results. We all make mistakes when we're learning. It's just part of the process. So now, we're going to look at the most common ones. Not to criticize them, but to learn from them and really lock in the rules we've just covered. Okay, here's mistake number 1. Saying she walked to school. It's so easy to forget that little s at the end of the verb when we're talking about he, she, or it. And here's the fix. She walks. That s is the signature of the third person in the affirmative present simple. Don't let it get away. Another classic, trying to make a negative by just adding not. She not like coffee just doesn't work in English. We need our auxiliary verb to come in and help us out. Exactly. To make a negative, we need don't or doesn't. Since we're talking about she, the correct way is she does not like coffee, or the shorter version, she doesn't like coffee. Now for a past tense error. They didn't talked. See the problem? If we already have didn't to show that it's the past, we don't need to put the verb in the past tense too. The correct way is they didn't talk. Remember the golden rule. After didn't, the main verb always goes back to its base form, its infinitive. We're almost there. To wrap this up, here's a visual summary that you can use as your own personal cheat sheet. These are the key words that will signal which tense you need to use.
The crucial thing is that these time expressions are your best friends. If you see words like every day or usually, think present simple. If you read yesterday or last week, your brain should immediately yell past simple.
And with that, we're done. Just remember this phrase. The key isn't perfection, it's consistency. Grab your log, start writing today, and you'll see how little by little, all of this just becomes automatic. Good luck and get practicing.